Hello and welcome to Fifth and Grace. Today I thought we'd have a little look at Mark Carney, everybody's favorite temporary foreign worker. Allegedly for entertainment purposes only. I think anybody who's been hanging around here for a minute would know I'm not a fan. But we're gonna have a little looky-poo and see what the cards are saying. Because I feel like we're in a weird spot right now. The budget passed, which is great. It's not a good budget, but I'll tell you why it's important that it passed. People have not hit rock bottom yet. Many people have, but the people who need to really be convinced, who need their eyes opened, have not. And so we have that combined with at least another 6 months of just pure gold ammunition for the conservatives to keep going for this. And for example, don't sit there and talk about how much we love and respect our veterans and then cut $4.2 billion, that's with a B, the big B, $billion from Veterans Affairs. Do you see what I'm saying? So people need to get their eyes opened to what this man is up to. I know there's an awful lot of talk about how he's going to dip into the pension money. That's not going to happen. He can't, well, I'm not going to say he can't do that, but it's not government money. That's not in his coffers to touch. So if you're, concerned that he might be coming for your pension, he would have to really go to some tremendous, treasonous, diabolical dictatorship great lengths to do that. So I wouldn't worry about that. But he's cut from other things. And, I think it's all I think it's well known that he's, doing anything he can to benefit Brookfield. When they've got this blind trust, but he knows what's in it. A blind trust, a true blind trust would be that everything that he had was sold. There was a pile of cash and some third-party independent person unknown to Mark Carney would manage that money and invest it for him, with him having no idea who's investing and what they're investing in. So to say, oh, well, it's a blind trust. Well, he already knows what's in it. Okay. All right. So let's see. Where's he at right now? Oh, he's counting his money. He is counting his money. He is feeling very, very pleased with himself. He's got the budget done and out there and passed with the help of the NDP. If you watched how that unfolded in the chamber, who voted and how they voted and everything else, you would see it was all very strategic. Andrew Scheer was actually out in the hallway just doing what Andrew Scheer does. And my MP told me that, when the way the vote was going, somebody ran out and got him because he was going to abstain potentially, but they were waiting to see, did they need his vote against the budget? So it was all very strategic and there were games being played. Everybody played the game. And even the conservatives, they all stood up and said no. But there were some that were not in the room at the time. But when they realized, they needed some more numbers on the nays, they went out to the hallway and brought in the MPs who were possibly going to abstain. So that's how that went down. It was actually quite interesting. It happened really fast. And but it went through. We knew it would. It had to pass. A lot of people were saying if it didn't pass, it would automatically trigger an election. That's actually not true. I did some research a while ago to find out what really does happen. Like what are the possibilities? And when we are this close to or from the previous election, so the end of April was our last election for anybody who's not paying attention or is out of the country. A lot of people outside of Canada are like, we don't know anything. So it's only been like 6-7 months since the election. And the governor general at that point, if there was, if the budget didn't pass, that's a confidence vote. If the budget didn't pass, then that lets the governor general know that the House has lost confidence in the government. And then the governor general at that point can drop the writ and trigger an election, or they can turn to another party and say, all right, you try forming a government. So that's what I've read. That's what I learned. It was a constitutional lawyer who wrote a web page about it, explaining it all, just to, for educational purposes. And so we would not necessarily have gone to an election, but it just would have overcomplicated everything. We needed this budget to pass by a very slim margin, simply because we need more time as a country for people to see who Mark Carney is. There's 19% of the voting population that are the cult liberals. They will never change their minds. Everything he does, like they went from Trump is the biggest threat to this country in the history of Canada to who cares? So, they all think that him being who cares guy and not getting a deal with America is the greatest thing to ever happen. So they're never going to change their minds, but it's everybody else, the other 81% of the voting population, that needs to see it for what it is. And we needed that time to get there. Okay. That's what's going on. I know it's a lot of civics education taking place here. So what's in his way? The people's emotions, the emotions of everybody. Mark Carney does not like emotions. He doesn't like people with feelings. He likes to cash in on your feelings. He likes to make sure you're feeling stuff, but he doesn't concern himself too much with the emotions of anybody else, but it's getting in his way. So for example, when he said, who cares? Well, Canada got very emotional about that. And now he's trying to get a meeting with the president. So, and for anybody who doesn't know what he said, who cares to, he was asked the question, when are you going to talk to the president? And he said, who cares? Right? But he doesn't care about anything. He cares about himself. That's it. My opinion. Okay. So, the root of his problems really, it's just boiling down to people wanting something very different than what he wants. The 19%, he's doing what they want, which is nothing, but saying he's doing something. This is what they do. I want you to think about the people who virtue signal, the people who say things like, I stand with Palestine, but don't do anything, right? The virtue signaling people who believe that they're good people because they told you they're good people. They think because he's telling them what a good job he's doing, and they're the kind of people who would tell you what a good job they're doing as well. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So they think he's doing great. The rest of the country is like, come on. So what's really the root of everything for him is that we're just not being good little children, obedient to him. We're not going along with what he wants. We want happily ever after. We want to feel good. We want the country to heal. We want the sun to be shining on Canada again. And he's here to destroy Canada, my opinion. He's perfectly executing the job he's here to do. So people who hate him would say he's doing a terrible job. I would say he's doing a fantastic job. But the difference is you believe he's doing the job for you, when no, he's not. He's doing the job for himself, for his handlers, for the people who give him his instructions. We know who they are. Klaus Schwab. And allegedly. My opinion. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Okay, everyone? We just play with pretty cards and tell stories. Okay? So so don't come for me. And if you're a liberal, you may be at the wrong rally. So he just, you know what I mean? He's doing a fantastic job of what he was sent here to do. But if you believe he was sent here to work for you as a Canadian, no. That's the mistake that people make, is that you thought he cared. But he doesn't. He's not even, he's barely Canadian. He was born here, but that's it. And, you know, he doesn't, he just, you know, he wants to go back to Europe and live his life as a European, as he's told us he's European. You know, he's not, he wouldn't identify as Canadian. So yeah, the root of the problem is Canadians for him. We are the root of the problem. The little children who just want a nice life and are not obeying him. We are his problem. What's leaving? What is heading out? Okay, justice. I want to look at the timing of this card, since we have it. So this is September 23rd to October 22nd. So really what justice is about, it's about the truth. I think the truth is so far removed from our government at the moment. I think this is really an indication that people are starting to wake up to this, and they're starting to see, like, look at, if you watch you know, CTV or CBC or anything like that. I don't, except in little clips on YouTube, but they're starting to turn on him a bit. People are starting to say, wait a minute, hold on a second. This is not what we thought was going to happen. And, you know, he made a lot of campaign promises, and then as soon as he got elected, threw them all out the window and just started doing whatever he wanted. So yeah, it's the trust in him is starting to leave. People are starting to realize he can't be trusted. And because he's not telling the truth. Like, the truth went out the window a long time ago. We know that because during his campaign, people were keeping track of the lies. Like, he's telling lie after lie after lie. I even asked a Liberal voter, does it matter to you? Like, does it bother you at all that you know that he is lying straight to your face? And they said, nope, I don't care. I don't care that he's lying to me. But they believe he's lying to them for the right reasons. Do you see what I'm saying? Like they believe that he's lying to them for their highest good, instead of he's lying to everybody to get all of our money and ruin Canada and make it so much easier. You know, personally, I think that he's working for Donald Trump sometimes, you know, to literally make it so easy for us. We'll be begging to be American by the end of this. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope we get back on track. I think we'll have an election in the spring. There's a great possibility of that. That is energy we will look at later on. But this can't go on forever. And Mark Carney's going to want a majority government so that he can push through everything he wants. So we need to stop that. What does he want? He wants everybody to just get on board. He wants, I'm going to look at the timing of this too, because we're sort of getting into future stuff here. Timing, no timing connected to this. But, you know, what he wants is, he wants everyone to get on board. He wants just things to move. You know, he wants people to just get on with things and understand things and just get behind him. This is definitely a new journey, new learning card. He wants to take things in a new direction. And he just, I like just what's coming in is he just doesn't want people to look too deep. Interesting. It's, yeah, he just sort of wants to like swing a stick and just make it all happen, and, you know, like wave his magic wand, and everyone's just doing what he wants. And you know, look at the way he treats reporters, you know, when they ask him questions he doesn't like. And you can always tell when he knows he's lost control of the dialogue, the conversation, because he'll switch to French, a language he's never spoken until maybe this year. But then he'll start, you know, je parle français, you know what I mean? And he'll start, and then he's like, oh, sorry, I accidentally switched into French. Because what he wants to do, it's very strategic, and it's very clever, actually, is change up the energy and get everybody like, what's going on? because he knows the journalists and the reporters don't understand what he's saying unless they are French as well. Not, I mean, like I'm Canadian, I speak French. Yes, I can understand, kind of get the gist of what's going on, but my French isn't so good that I'm perfectly bilingual. Most journalists in Ontario don't speak French. So, and then also the public here doesn't usually speak French either. So he switches to French to throw everybody off. Maybe we'll forget the question, maybe, and then we don't know what he's saying. Do you see what I mean? So he just kind of wants to he just keeps like zigging and zagging and like going in different directions. This is very spicy energy, actually. Oof, yeah. So it's coming up. We're trying to get some balance here. Again, because we have a major arcana in the future. Let's have a looky poo at the timing. The timing is, oh, hold on, right now, what's today? Okay. So the 23rd of November to December 21st. This is Sagittarius energy. So what's coming up is I think we're going to see, maybe he's going to pull back on the reins a little bit because he knows people aren't buying it. You know, like he's like when he's being all like, oh yeah, elbows up, who cares about Donald Trump? Yeah, 80% of the voting population said, hold on a minute, we care. So he's got to get back into balance. So now he's trying to get Donald Trump to have a meeting with him. I would think it would be quite hilarious if Mark Carney went to Washington and Trump wouldn't meet with him and he got to meet with like, cabinet or something. That would be kind of funny, actually. But I think that one of his handlers is going to have a chat with him about his arrogance and kind of become a more balanced human being who, the economist guy who has destroyed every economy he's touched, it really isn't tapping into humanity. Like it's great to be practical, but you also have to be kind and compassionate and emotional and loving and everything else. And we're not seeing that with him. He doesn't even he doesn't stand up for Canadians in any way. I would love to see him fight back. Like I would love to see him yell back and people will say, oh, he's just as bad as Donald Trump. Really? No, they wouldn't. His team, his voters, his cult would be up and down cheering. It doesn't matter what he does. He's the greatest thing to ever happen. So what we need to do is bring things to some balance. I believe that that's going to come through the Conservatives and the Bloc. Fun fact, last week, so there was that whole thing about the minimum sentencing for somebody who's possessing or distributing materials about children in compromising situations. Okay, we know what we're talking about here. Okay, I know you're very clever. I know you understand what I'm saying. The bad stuff. That was reduced. The minimum sentencing was reduced. They said it was, it wasn't very kind. Oh, okay. And then so that got passed on the floor, but it went to committee, and in committee, the Conservatives and the Bloc outnumbered the Liberals, and they've got it taken. That's good back on the table. That sentencing is back on the table. This is what I'm saying, is the balance. We're starting to see things balance out a bit where you've got other parties collaborating to stop things that the Liberals are doing. Okay, does that make sense? So this is our near future. Let's look at this from now to the end of the year. And I know I just was with Larry Brock, Jamil Javani, Rhonda Kirkland, Arpin, I can't remember his last name. Arpin, he's another 4 MPs, and they've got some stuff they're trying to get through before Christmas. So they were talking about that, so keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for that. And then we have our underlying energy, the Empress. That's a lot of major arcanas here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana. This is big energy. Not surprising at all, given the way Canadians feel right now. Um, there's a lot of emotion in this country, and but this is very the underlying energy is like we need to, as a country, not try to force things. Like back with the budget, and everybody was angry with the conservatives for not triggering an election. It's like, well, they didn't have the numbers to trigger an election, even if everybody was there. It doesn't matter. Like there was nothing they could do, right? So that we have to just lean back a little bit and just let things play out enough. We got to play a little bit of a long game here. And I know there's a lot of people who are very reactionary. They want things now and instantly and snap their fingers and everyone's going to obey. That's not going to work. This needs to be a bit of a slow burn. This needs to be like feminine lean back energy. Like we just, as Canadians, just have to be patient, trust the process, and let things play out for a bit. And then hopefully we'll get the results that we want. So there we have it. I thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to click like, click subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think, even if you disagree. I would love to hear that. We can argue. I'm good. Just don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. And yeah, as ever, have a magical day.